Add Goal 2.3 notes to your table of contents in your notebook. Goal 2.3 reads, I can identify the types of bonds in a given compound and explain my reasoning. So what you need to be able to do here is to take a given compound, tell me what types of bonds that compound is composed of and why, or how you know that. So it's important to know how to identify elements as metals versus nonmetals. So just quick review, everything to the left and below that stair step line that we see in blue here are considered metals. Everything to the right and above it that you see in that sandy colored squares are nonmetals. When metals bond with nonmetals, we have what we call an ionic bond. And this is called an ionic bond because an electron or more than one electron gets transferred from one element to another element. Ionic bonds form those crystal structures that we learned about in Goal 2.2. The opposite of this would be what we call a covalent bond. This is when nonmetals bond with other nonmetals, and instead of electrons being transferred from one to another, the two atoms actually share electrons between each other. And so that is a covalent bond. Covalent bonds form those structures that we call molecules, like what you see there. So in a molecule, each atom is sharing electrons with every other atom that is bonded to. And like I said before, in order to tell what types of bonds something is made of, you first need to identify the types of elements, whether they are metals or nonmetals. So for instance, if we're given something like CO2, you should be able to first identify the elements in that compound, C, carbon, O, oxygen. You need to go to your periodic table and find carbon, and you'll see that it's in the non-metal portion of the table. Same thing for oxygen. Find that, it's in the non-metal portion. Since we have a metal bonded with since we have a non-metal bonded with another non-metal in the case of CO2, then that tells us that it is made up of covalent bonds. The opposite, remember, would be a metal and a nonmetal. And if something's metal plus nonmetal, then we would know that it is made up of ionic bonds.